To dive into something a little different today, we're taking on the Selkie, those shapeshifters, caught between the ocean and, well, us. We've got folklore, theories, even some modern takes on these creatures. So, let's get started.
It's amazing how these stories, passed down through generations, really show our fascination with nature, especially the ocean.
Yeah, you said it. There's something about transformation stories that always gets me hooked. But before we get too far, let's start with the basics. What exactly is a Selkie, according to, the lore?
They're all about duality in the water, sleek and powerful seals, but on land, they shed their skins, literally, and take on human form.
So it's not just a quick change, like poof. The seal skin is really important to who they are, huh?
Exactly. Our sources are very clear. Without that skin, they're stuck as humans.
Okay, now that's a scary thought. Douche your jacket and bam, you're human forever. But where did these stories even come from? Did people just see a seal on the beach and think, hey, that's a mythical creature?
It's probably more about real-world encounters sparking these tales. One theory links them to the Sami people. They were known to travel in kayaks and wear sealskin clothing.
Oh, I see.
Imagine, seeing that for the first time. When you think, shapeshifter?
Yeah, that freaked me out a little. Like seeing someone peel away their, well, everything to become something totally different. Didn't the Inuit people play a part in this too? Something about the Little Ice Age?
Right. The Inuit relied on animal skins for, well, everything clothes, kayaks. Imagine them on the shore drying their seal skins. To someone who didn't know their customs, it could totally look like seals turning human.
Wow. Suddenly those old explorer diaries seem way more interesting, like history meets magic. But some of these origin stories get even wilder, like the Macadrum clan and their hands.
The Macadrums, legend says, are descended from a Selkie. And what's interesting is their syndactyly. It's where the skin between their fingers is fused, kind of like flippers, almost like they still have a piece of their Selkie ancestor.
Now that's a family story for the ages. So we've got cultural encounters, we've got the environment, even genetics. But we can't forget the truly mythical explanations for these creatures, right?
Of course not. Some stories say Selkies are fallen angels cast into the sea. Others that they're the souls of those lost at sea coming back in these, shape-shifting forms.
It's like the ocean itself is a bridge between worlds. And speaking of worlds colliding, a lot of Selkie stories revolve around, well, love and relationships when the human and supernatural worlds meet.
That's where things get interesting. One of the most common themes is the Selkie bride, forced into a marriage after someone steals her sealskin.
It's heartbreaking, really. Trapped in a life you never chose, always longing for the ocean. The story of Thady and Eve, that's a perfect example, isn't it?
Absolutely. Theody's captivated by Eve's beauty and steals her skin, basically forcing her to marry him. She's a good wife, has his children even, but she misses the sea, always.
And when she finds her skin again, thanks to her child, she can't resist the ocean. But she can't leave all her children.
Right. The story says she turns 5 of them into rocks and takes the other 2 into the waves with her.
It's such a sad story, full of love and loss, and that pull of the wild, and that idea of the stolen skin, of someone taking away someone else's true self, that seems to come up a lot.
It does. There's that story of the man who locks his sulky wife's skin in a chest to try and keep her with him.
Like he could trap the tide itself. But these stories are about more than just romance, right? It feels like a warning about greed, about trying to own something as wild as the sea.
I agree completely. It makes you think about what happens when we try to control nature, to make it what we want. And we see that same struggle in how people treat each other in these stories. Like Ursula, for example. Ursula's a bit different than those typical Selkie bride stories.
Right. It's not about a man capturing a Selkie. It's a woman who chooses to have this relationship with a Selkie.
Yeah, she's not happy in her marriage, wants something more, And this Selkie represents that freedom she's looking for.
Exactly. She wants something completely different, a connection beyond her normal life. And her kids might even be the Selkies, right? They had those webbed hands and feet.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Talk about a scandal. But seriously, what does it all mean? Are these just cool stories? Or is there something deeper here?
Oh, they're full of symbolism. Like, take the seal skin itself. It's not just clothes. It's freedom, identity. It's everything about being a Selkie.
So to steal it, you're stealing their true self. It's really about power and control when you think about those Selkie brides.
Right. They want the ocean, a life that feels right, but they're stuck.
And it's not just about couples, is it? It feels like a warning about being greedy, about trying to own something as wild as the ocean.
Definitely. Those who try to control the Selkie, wanting power or whatever, bad things happen to them. Like the fishermen who tried to hunt those seals for their skins. Remember that story? Gioga's son. They thought, easy, just some seals? But those were Selkie folk they messed with.
Oh yeah, that didn't go well for them, did it?
Not at all. The sea got angry, swallowed one of them whole, and the others. Stuck on a rock with nothing. No seal skins, just regret.
Instant karma. It's like these stories are saying respect nature. You can't just take and take without consequences.
Exactly. The ocean's powerful. It can give life and it can take it away. Just like the Selkie, it's like a reminder. We're not in charge of nature. We're a part of it.
Trying to control it just backfires. But even with the warnings, the sad stories, there's this feeling of longing, wanting something more than just everyday life.
Definitely. The Selkie is that longing. Two worlds, that connection to something wild, magical. And that's what makes them so interesting. Even now, all these years later, people are still drawn to these stories.
And not just the old stories, right? Selkies are in art, books, even movies. They've become this huge symbol.
Totally. Think about it. Finding your identity, wanting freedom, the mystery of the unknown, those are things we all feel, but the Selkie makes it, well, bigger, more powerful.
Yeah. That image of the sealskin left on the beach. It's like a door to another world, that part of us that wants to change, to see something amazing, something more than our boring lives.
It's like looking in a mirror, in a way.
Yeah, like the Selkie is showing us ourselves, our hopes and fears.
And it makes you think, with everything happening now, climate change, the planet struggling, do these stories mean even more now?
That's a good question. If the Selkie is like the wild, beautiful part of nature, what happens when we try to control that? Is the Selkie story a warning for us?
It's haunting. Those songs they sing, the longing for the sea. Are they singing for the whole world? A world trying to find balance
Now
again?
you're getting it deep. What if the Selkie isn't just a story, but like a message, a reminder that we're not separate from nature, we're a part of it. And if we keep messing things up, we'll lose something important.
Something as precious as that sealskin, yeah.
It makes you think, that's for sure. It's something we have to consider how we treat the planet.
So when you hear these stories, let them make you curious. Think about how everything's connected, people and nature trying to exist together.
Yeah, maybe these stories will make people listen a little more. To the wind, the ocean, appreciate the wildness that's left.
And remember, some things are too precious to control, like the Selkie, like the sea. They're more amazing when we let them just be.
I like that. And on that note, we'll leave you to keep exploring the mystery of the Selkie. Until next time, keep diving deep.